What is up, everyone? Welcome to the first ever Shirts versus Skins top 10. We're going to get straight into it with the top 10 sport rules you probably didn't know about. Tigu, let us know.
So, at number 10, in the sport of polo, there's no left handed polo players. They're not allowed. Why? The United States Polo Association rulebook dictates that polo players must hold their mallet with their right hands. This is due to the fact that when right-handed players approaches the ball as a left-handed player approaches the opposite way, it creates a jousting-like situation that wasn't safe for anyone. So they took it out of the sport to be safe. Definitely, definitely something that I respected for safety.
I mean, the jousting is a little entertaining, so
Yeah,
it would
right.
be nice to see. Yeah.
That would
Uh,
be, yeah, like you said, super entertaining.
so at number 9, with a baseball rule you probably didn't know about, when a fielder intentionally throws his glove at a fair batted ball or a foul ball that had a chance at being fair, and if the glove makes contact with the ball, the batter and all runners are awarded 3 bases. So, in 2005, for example, when the Diamondbacks hosted the Dodgers, Dodgers pitcher Dwayne Sanchez threw his glove directly above his head to stop a ball, and it did stop it. But Luis Torrero was awarded 3 bases since it did make contact with the
Wow.
ball, and it actually caused the Diamondbacks to make a comeback. So, yeah.
That's actually something I really did not know.
It
Wow.
happened
That's
recently, too. Someone tried doing it, but they failed. But yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So, at number 8, I'm gonna keep it baseball. You're not allowed to catch the ball with your hat. I know, especially during like TV shows or maybe sports movies where the baseball players catch the ball with their hats. They're actually not allowed to do that in the real game. So, and if it does happen, the batter's awarded 3 bases. So there's something with 3 bases in the rule books in baseball, right?
It seems to be a trend. It's pretty
Mhm.
cool. That's pretty cool. Uh, at number 7, going into some soccer, if a player either throws a ball from a throw in or passes a free kick into their own net, it is actually not an own goal. Instead, the opposing team is awarded a corner. For
Wow.
example, in 2002, in the West Midlands Derby between Aston Villa and Birmingham City, Villa's player threw a ball into his own net. The goalkeeper, if he didn't touch it, it would have been awarded a corner, but it was
Wow.
deemed that the goalkeeper did brush it against his leg. I don't know how they determined that without VAR, and so the own goal was given. But if he didn't touch it, it would have been a corner. So it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting rule.
Definitely an interesting one, especially in soccer. Their rules are kind of crazy, super confusing as well. So
Yeah.
now at number 6 in college basketball, dunking is not allowed before the game. So in the final 20 minutes before tip off, you usually have layup lines, warm ups, such and such, but players are actually not allowed to dunk during that. And we know that in NBA, especially players like to do flashy dunks during the warm up layup line to excite the fans, but in college is actually not allowed. And this
Wow.
actually, in one case, Kansas State actually got in trouble for dunking just 2 seconds before the clock started running in a regular game. So definitely weird one,
2 seconds. That's crazy. All right.
crazy.
Um, Sticking to basketball at number 5, if a player fouls out in the NBA, but the team does not have 5 able-bodied players due to an injury or an ejection, the player who fouls out can actually still play on the court. Every foul after will be awarded as a technical foul, but they can still continue playing. In college basketball, on the other hand, you cannot play after getting 5 fouls, so your team will just be reduced to 4 if you don't have anyone available on the bench. In a quite similar situation, Alabama versus Minnesota saw Alabama play a 3 versus 5 after the entire bench got ejected, a player fouled out, and another got injured, but they only lost by 5 points to Minnesota after Colin Sexton dropped 40 points.
Wow. Wow, I remember that happened, and I also remember, I believe there was a situation like that in the NBA.
Oh wow.
I
Really?
can't name the teams, but I believe it was Cleveland, and there was actually an infamous photo of one of the players. I don't know if it was either Kevin Love or maybe Anderson Varejao, where he was basically laying on the bench because so many players are out, and one of them actually stayed in the game. So that's a very interesting one. Someone that I knew, but maybe our fans don't know.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So definitely a
Number
cool one.
four.
So at number 4, going back to baseball, if a pitched ball lodges inside an umpire's or catcher's mask or paraphernalia, i.e., shirt, pants, whatever, it actually and it remains out of play, all runners advance a base. So that's definitely a funny one, to be honest.
All runners advance.
All runners. So that's a big one. It's a big one. So hopefully, listen, if you're a pitcher, don't get it in the umpire's pants somehow.
Yeah, for real. Uh, so at number three, going back to some soccer, the offside rule is a pretty confusing rule, especially people new to the sport. What I learned actually was that if a player is offside in soccer, if less than two players are between him and the goal, this meaning that it is the second to last defender that determines whether you're offside. The goalie is usually deemed as the last defender, right? But let's say
Yeah.
the goalie goes up for a corner and then there's one defender in front of you and one defender behind you and you get played the ball, you're still offside because that defender now gets the last defender marker. So you are offside. It's a
Wow.
confusing one, but
Yeah.
basically, just because the goalie's not there, you could still be offside. It's a rule that probably most people don't know. So
Yeah, this, like I said before, in soccer, the rules are confusing. So sticking with the sport of soccer, uh, it is actually illegal for a goalkeeper to roll his sleeves up. Now, I don't know why. Maybe if you roll your sleeves up like you're doing right now, you get a plus 10 attribute in diving, ball handling, and everything. But in soccer, it is illegal to roll your sleeves up as a goalkeeper.
all right. Before we get into number one, any honorable mentions, rules you might have came across?
I got one. This one was a pretty funny one. I didn't leave it out top 10 because it's not really like it's something we all know, but to it be an actual rule in the rule book itself, it's pretty funny. So, the actual soccer rule book explains that there may be no tree on the field. Now,
This is a
like you
written
said,
rule.
this is actually a written rule that they explain to the referees or anybody that's reading it that why there shouldn't be a tree on the pitch. So that one was pretty funny. I mean, listen, I can understand it. Let's just say you pass the ball off of the tree and you get a nice volley. Does the tree get an assist or something? So I don't know. It's
Probably.
definitely a funny one. It's
Definitely
a
a
funny one
Puskas Award contender, if you ask me.
for sure.
Uh, I had a pretty uh an unwritten rule from WWE. You are not allowed to sneeze around Vince McMahon, the boss himself. He actually believes that you can control your sneezing, so all wrestlers avoid sneezing around him. It's pretty crazy. I tried doing it myself, and I don't think I'll be participating in WrestleMania anytime soon because of it. So,
Listen, Vince McMahon is something else. That's it.
for sure, for sure. So that brings us to the number one rule you probably didn't know about, coming from Ahmed himself. Yes, he let me know about this one particular rule that is going to shock you all. You cannot throw in a towel in a UFC bout. You can do it in boxing. We've seen it done in boxing in major fights, but you cannot do it in the UFC. If
Wow.
the UFC rules state that if a corner does throw a towel in, the foul is
Oh,
punishable by the fighter being awarded a DQ or a point deduction, which is probably more realistic. However, the corner can decide to pull their fighter out mid round. And there was one case where they were about to throw in a towel. In UFC 125, Frankie Edgar's corner was about to throw in the towel, which it was illegal at the time. They did not. Frankie Edgar actually went on to draw the fight. So it's a good thing they
Wow.
didn't. But yeah,
Wow, that's definitely it actually makes sense now because I always wondered why they don't, never throw in the towel, like of course, like you said, like in boxing, and it's actually illegal. That's
yeah,
crazy. I really didn't know that.
and and
That's a
and
good
we
one.
we've seen boxing bouts throwing the towel in like big
Yeah,
bouts, like so.
absolutely.
It's not like people are
Yeah,
reluctant to do it. So it's crazy.
and especially in that Frankie Edgar thing, like you said, you can lose points, right? And
Yeah,
that fight with him was a draw, so
yeah,
good on their corner to not throw in the
yeah.
towel.
But yeah, that about does it for the first ever Shirts versus Skins top 10. We hope you guys enjoyed the top 10 sporting rules you probably didn't know about. There's plenty more to come. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.
See ya.